Are you preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance exams? BYJU'S Exam Prep, CAT and MBA, your one-stop solution for all MBA exams related questions. Watch unique strategies to ace CAT, XAT, SNAP, IIFT, TISNET, CMAT and other important MBA entrance exams. Tips and tricks to boost score, subject-wise and chapter-wise sessions, previous year's questions, exam-related update and notifications, live exam analysis and actual questions discussion. So why wait? Subscribe to BYJU'S Exam Prep, CAT and MBA YouTube channel and press the bell icon to stay updated. Are you preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance exams?
Hi guys, a very good afternoon to all of you. Once again, welcome to another session from BYJU'S Exam Prep. We are going to talk about one of the wonderful exams in the MBA domain, one of the most unique exams in the entire MBA spectrum in India called NMAT. Now there's a reason why I'm saying that this is one of the most unique exams, one of the most different format of an exam compared to the other traditional MBA entrance exams. And I'm going to explain why I love this exam so much. In fact, for those of you who understand the process or the exam called GMAT, right? So that the exam which students write to go abroad to do their MBA or other such post-graduation programs. If you know about that exam, then NMAT you already understand. If not, I'm going to spend this session to explain to you why is this exam very different from the others and how should you navigate for, or rather prepare for such kind of an exam. Okay, so that's what we have in store right now. So let's start off by understanding what is this exam first of all, how many colleges, what are the top colleges that take the score of NMAT. Now in India, the NMAT score is accepted by about 120 plus colleges. There's a huge list. The top colleges, again, I'm not saying these are only the top colleges, few colleges that I've mentioned. Of course, the best among them happens to be the NMIMS University because that's the college which is for which this particular exam is conducted. But apart from that, you have other 119 odd universities or colleges accepting the score. The other top colleges accepting the scores are mentioned over here. You have KJ Somaiya, once again it's in Bombay, Xavier's, Bhubaneswar, IFMR, Sri City, then we have IBS Hyderabad, then VIT, Vellore, and you have a lot of other colleges like this. I've just mentioned few of the colleges only. Now, the exam, the acceptance is quite large, but more importantly, the first unique aspect of this exam, one of the main differences, there are many differences actually, one of the main differences between this exam and normal other MBA exams, like you look at your CAT, or you look at your XAT, or your IIFT for that matter, any other exam like this, or your, let's say, CMAT, or CET, any of these exams, or SNAP for that matter, these usually happens once or twice in a year. For example, CAT happens only once, XAT happens only once, IIFT happens only once, CMAT I think happens twice, SNAP happens, you can write it twice, and so on and so forth. But this exam continuously happens for almost 3 months. In fact, these are the dates that the exam was conducted in the last year. So it started on 14th of October and the exam was conducted every day till 27th of December with few days which as exception where the exam was not happening. Which means you're talking about a multitude of questions coming your way and there is no single paper anymore or 2 papers anymore. You are having something like 70 or 80 papers. And that's what we're going to understand. How can an exam give out 70 different papers and then combine all those students and then give out a merit list? That is the beauty of this exam. We're going to understand how this particular exam does that. So this year also we can expect a similar timeline. So if you are registering for the exam on or before 24th of November, now this is the second important part about the exam. So the exam happens many times. That's that's what I mentioned. But the other beautiful part about this is, in a year, in this 3 months, or rather in these 3 months, you can write the exam a maximum of 3 times. Imagine you are able to write an exam 3 times, and that's not the best part. The best part is the college takes the top score among the 3. So if you have given the exam 3 times, it will take the best possible score out of the 3 attempts that you have given. So you don't have to worry about what will happen in my second attempt or third attempt. Will it be better than? Will it be what if it is worse off than my first attempt? It doesn't matter. Because if it is better than your first attempt, they will consider the second attempt. If it is worse off than the first attempt, they will take your first attempt only. Okay, so if you apply to it by 24th of November, you can take all 3 attempts. If you are applying between 25th November, so these are the dates that was disclosed last year. I've just changed 21 into 22, but again these are indicative dates. So if you are putting it, or if you are applying between 25th November and 10th of December, you are talking about excuse me. So you're talking about 2. That is you're talking about 2 attempts available to you. And if you are applying for the exam after 11th December, then you'll be able to write the exam only once. So depending upon how early are you applying to this particular exam, you can write it 3 times, 2 times, or 1 time. So what are the unique things that we have seen? Firstly, the exam is conducted over 30 days. Secondly, you can write the exam a maximum of 3 times. And thirdly, your score will be the best of the 3. Okay, so these are the unique points that we have seen, but the list of uniqueness does not stop there. That's the beauty about this exam. That's one of the reasons why I love this exam a lot. Okay. Kabir, NM Mumbai considered first attempt only last year? No, I don't think so, Kabir. I don't think that was right. But let me also check that once again. I don't think, because NM on their website, even today if you go right now, it will be mentioned very clearly that we will take the best of the 2 or 3 attempts that you have given. Okay, let's move on. Now, so I already mentioned this. Then the other thing is, you can book your slot. Unlike CAT or ZAT, CAT happens twice, right? Morning and afternoon, or morning and evening. Now, if CAT happens twice, you cannot choose which slot you want, afternoon slot, or in fact, if it's a 2-hour exam, it's happening thrice now. Morning, afternoon, and evening. So you can't book your slot the way you want in a CAT exam. However, in this exam, you can book your own slot. Okay, so that's another thing which differentiate NMAT from the other exams. Okay, and as I said, you can take a shot at it thrice, but the catch is every time you're writing the exam, you have to pay 2,300 rupees. It's not free. Okay, so first time 2,500, I guess, then retake, that is a second time or third time. Each time you have to pay extra 2,300 to write the exam. Okay, and of course, the best of the 3 scores are considered. That's what I mentioned. The other thing is, the results are very, very quick. Usually the scorecard will come to you within 48 hours is what they mention. I hope this year they will stick to it. To be very honest, this is what they mention. Last year we noticed that it is not at all 48 hours. It will take a little bit more than that, probably a week or 10 days. But yes, I hope that, usually GMAT, I said, right, NMAT is similar to GMAT as a comparison. So if you're talking about GMAT, your raw score will be available then and there. And within 10 days, you will actually get your confirmed final score. Similarly, even in this exam, right now they are still talking about 7 to 10 days for you to get your final score. But I hope this year that they're going to make it into 2 days. So within 2 days, I hope they'll be able to send you the scorecard. And now we're going to look at the next beautiful part about this exam. And this exam is called adaptive exam. It's the nature of the exam is adaptive. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time for you right now trying to explain to you what is the meaning of this adaptive nature. How is it different from our normal exams like a CAT or a ZAT? But before we get into that, understanding adaptive nature, the thing you need to understand is here, one more beautiful part about the exam is, see, in CAT, again, I keep comparing it with CAT because CAT is the, the most well-known MBA entrance exam and a lot of students write it. So that's the reason why I'm comparing it. Nothing else otherwise. So in CAT, your first section is always English. You can't change this. After English, you will get DILR. You can't change it. After DILR, you will get your Quant. You can't change it. Here, it will allow you to choose the right order that you want. Imagine, you want to start with, so I want to start with maths first. You want to start with logic first. You can choose the way in which the section should appear. I can choose the way in which my sections will appear to me. So this is an exam which will allow you to choose your strategy of starting. Unlike CAT, where it says everybody start with English, whether you like it or not. Here the exam says, please decide what is the best thing for you. In fact, this way I would say NMAT is a lot more student friendlier than other traditional MBA entrance exams in our country. Okay. Good afternoon, Vijay. Now, what is it about this nature called adaptive nature? What is so special about this adaptive nature? Firstly, the basic exams that you have, like your CAT, your ZAT, and other entrance exams, they have 3 sections or 4 sections, whatever sections they have, that is confirmed. Now, in each section, you will have some X number, Y number, Z number of questions. So section 1 will have X, section 2 will have Y, section 3 will have Z, and so on and so forth. Now, whatever these X, Y, Z are, all the X, Y, Z number of questions are dumped to you the moment the section starts. For example, if you look at CAT, in the new pattern that we are looking at, if you're starting with English, you will have 24 questions and 40 minutes. And all these 24 questions are given to you at the beginning itself, which means I can start from question number 1, or if I want, I can start from the middle, question number 14 or question number 12, or I can start from the end, question number 24. The questions don't change once the screen is given to me, once the section is given to me. Same thing with other entrance exam also. Okay, same thing with other entrance exams also. Okay, Ayush says NMIMS only considered first attempt. Was it, Ayush? Are you sure about that? Last year it considered only first attempt. Let me check that, because that's the whole beauty about the exam. You can write it more than once. But again, 2 of you are saying that. Let me really look into it once again. Anyway, so moving on. So English, so as I said, here in this particular exam, what is it that is adaptive? Now, in this English, when you're taking about your CAT or ZAT, these kind of exams, there is nothing called adaptive here, because you have the first question could be easy or difficult, you don't know. Second question could be easy or difficult, you don't know, and so on and so forth. The last question could be easy for all you know. The middle question can be easy. So it is basically the difficulty level is all thrown across. It's all mixed up. But the meaning of adaptive, and this is how I want to explain this. Let me give this graph to you. Okay, let us say this is question number and this is difficulty level. Now, first thing you need to understand about an adaptive nature or adaptive format of an exam is you will never get all the questions at once. Okay, what is adaptive? The meaning of adaptive means if you attempt a question correctly, then the next question will be slightly more difficult than the previous one. If you attempt the second question correctly, then the third one will be a little bit more difficult than the second one. And that's how the graph or the questions come. Now, if you notice, without attempting the first question, the system will not know what to do. In fact, it will not allow you to go forward without giving an answer. Because for it to give you the second question, it should know what you have done in the first question. And one of the things, one of the outputs of this basic kind of a exam is that if you make a mistake in the first question, it will probably say, okay, let me see, is that guy making a silly mistake? In fact, I'll come to that. Is it a silly mistake that is made, or is it his concept is weak in this particular area? So it will not increase the difficulty level. It will probably give you a same difficulty level question once again. If you again make a mistake, it will go down. So let me give you an example with the graph. So let me start with the first question, question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, and so on. Question number 5, question number 6. Let us say this goes on till, let's say, question number 28. Now, it will start with an average difficulty level. Okay. Now, let us say the first question it was given to you at an average level. Now, after this, the system, or the what do you call, the engine, the test engine is what they call, sees the answer that you have given for that first question. It sees that you have given a correct answer. So it will slowly, the second question will be slightly higher, and you will be getting a slightly more difficult question. Slightly, not much. You've got it right again. It will go slightly more higher, and you will get a slightly more difficult question. Let us say you made a mistake now. Now when you make a mistake, it will recheck. Is it that your level is only till there? Or is it that you made a silly mistake but your level is more than that? Let us say you made a mistake here. So it will give you kind of something similar level. Now, fourth question, you got it right. Then the system says, okay, that is a silly mistake. Let's go forward. You will go forward. Fifth question. And this is how the progress bar goes. So let's say you reached somewhere till this point. You reached this point. Now let's say this is your 20th question. Question number 20. Now after this, it gives you a higher level question. You got it wrong, which means it will give you same level. You got it right, it will again go higher. You got it wrong, then it will give you same level. You again got it wrong, it will come down. So the whole idea is it will try to reach a point where, so it will keep giving you more. Think of, I don't know how many of you go to the gym or any of you practice any game. So the more you're able to do, the more the trainer will make you do. For example, if you go to a gym, the more you're able to lift, the trainer will keep, till you can't lift anymore, till you get exhausted. So that is what the exam tries to do over here. For example, let's say you're playing a sport. The more you're able to pick a particular shot, let's say you're playing badminton, you're playing table tennis, you're playing cricket for that matter. So you're always going to get more and more difficult shots till the person who's training you realizes that, okay, this is your limit. So the limit is what the exam tries to find. What is your limit? It is not an exam which gives you plus marks, plus 3 marks, minus 1 mark, plus 3 marks, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the whole idea is the exam tries to measure your limit. It tries to measure your potential. Now, how is your score determined then? The final score is determined by the level that you are ending. What is your end point? This is your difficulty level. So the difficulty level that you end, that is where more or less, so this is, you can see, this is a tapering off. So this is called as tapering off. So the tapering off effect, wherever that is happening, it means that the system or the engine realizes that, okay, that till there you can do, till there you're able to come. After that, you're making some mistakes, some you're getting correct, some you're getting wrong, which means you're not confident after that, or that is your potential, that is the limit. So it keeps increasing the difficulty level till the point you reach where you start making more mistakes. If I give you 10 questions, you'll probably get 4 correct and 6 wrongs, or 5 correct and 5 wrong. So your level more or less has tapered off. If that is not your limit, you can still go further. It will keep giving you more and more difficult questions. So as long as you're getting more and more corrects, it will keep giving you more and more difficult questions. Once you reach the maximum potential of your brain, that is where this tapering off effect will happen. So you'll get an up, you'll get it down, you'll get an up, you'll get it down. So the system will realize that, okay, we have hit the upper limit for this guy or this person. And it will note at what level approximately you are. It will then look at the difficulty level that you have reached and therefore convert this difficulty level into score. So the way in which a normal MBA entrance exam happens is, let us say CAT exam, in this 24 English, you got 10 correct and 4 wrong. So straight away 10 into 3, 30 and minus 4, minus 1 into 4, minus 4. So you'll get 26 marks. That's how it is done. Here it is not like that. Here what they do is they say, okay, if you reach this difficulty level, you will get, let's say, some X number of marks. If you come this difficulty level, you get X plus something. If you come this difficulty, it will be X plus something. So they map the marks. They map the marks to the level that you reach. And that is how this adaptive nature of the exam works. Okay, I've got a bunch of comments over here. So let me take a look at what they're saying. Ayush says NMIMS Mumbai is also not good as it intakes is about 600 and accommodation prices have skyrocketed. Ayush, yes, NMIMS is a costly institute, there's no doubt about it, but the placements are decent. It's in Bombay. So some of the best finance and marketing companies come to NMIMS, okay, just because they are nearby. So I would not say it is bad per se. It is costly, yes. It's definitely costly. But again, given that Bombay and you're in what is one of the prime locations in Bombay, so it is expected to be pricey. Okay, but I would not say it's a bad college. 600 is still fine. They are able to place everybody. Mostly people get placed. There's no problem unless you have a backlog or something like that, or you have a very poor score. But yes, if you put in the effort there, I'm sure that it is worth the money you're spending. There's no doubt about it. Vijay says, there must be easy questions also in the paper. Okay, Vijay, there is nothing called as easy and difficult. So it's not random. So what I'm trying to explain here is it will start with this level here. So let me change the color. Let me give you a slightly different example. Let us say I start at this level. The test assumes that average level is everybody. Now, assuming that your average level, let me see how high you can go. Let us say you didn't prepare. Okay, so your level is not even average. You got the first question itself wrong. It will say, okay, let me test it out once again. It will give you second question also same level. That also you got wrong. Then it will get down. It will give you an easier level now. That also you got wrong. It will go further down. That also you got wrong. It will go further down. And you are basically at this level, that means. So it will say, okay, this is not even level marks X. You will get X minus some marks. Okay, is that clear, Vijay? So it is not that you'll always start with easy questions and easy questions keep coming in between. It doesn't work that way. The questions are always related to the previous one. The next question is always related to the previous one. How you performed in the previous question will determine the next question. And making mistakes basically means you are not reaching your height. You want to reach the maximum height. You want to reach the maximum height. So making mistakes, and remember, you don't have infinite questions. You have only 28 questions. We'll talk about the paper pattern. So within these 28 steps, so think of it like that. I have 28 steps. I want to reach as high as possible without slipping on any step. So that's the reason I say it's like a snakes and ladder game. You have 28 turns to throw your die. You should not be gobbling up, or you should not be gobbled up by a snake, and you should take as many ladders as you can. A ladder means getting a question correct. A snake means you are basically making something wrong and coming down. Think of it that way. So that's the way in which the question, the paper is, to be putting it very, very simply to you. You will start, the only thing is, yeah, in snakes and ladder, you start from 1 and you go to 100. But here you start with an average level. And then depending upon how you answer the questions, it will go higher or it will go lower. Is this understood? This is the beauty of this exam called NMAT, which is adaptive in nature. Now, because of that, there are two things that will happen. Firstly, you cannot skip a question. Skipping of a question is not possible. You cannot skip a question. Because when you skip a question, the computer will not know what it means. Because it cannot give you the next question when you skip. It will make you answer. If you get it wrong, then it means that you don't know the concept, or your level is, you are reaching your potential probably. Okay, you're not able to answer that question. So there are two ways of looking at it. That's the beauty of this adaptive nature. See, okay, let me clear this up. See, when you make a wrong, when you got a question wrong, there are 2-3 ways or reasons why it can happen. First thing is, it is a silly mistake. But you know the answer, but you know the method, but you know how to solve. So which means this is not really difficult for you, but some calculation stupid error you made, and because of that you're getting it wrong. That could be a possibility. Second, this particular concept you didn't know. But same level other concepts you know. Okay, and the third thing is that the question is beyond you, which means your level is not up to the level of the question. Okay, now these are the three things because of which, broadly speaking, a question can go wrong. Let us see what the system does. When you make a mistake, it will not straight away say that, hey, you got it wrong, which means you are not this level. It will not say that. It will give you a benefit of doubt. What it does is, look, are you a person who made a silly mistake? That's okay. I'll give you another question. It's kind of similar level. Even so, I will give you similar or slightly easier question. If it is a silly mistake, answer the next one and I'll take you the next higher level up again. If the concept is not known, so let's say I'm talking about geometry and I gave you above average difficulty level. You don't know geometry, so you will get it wrong. That's okay. It will not say that, hey, you don't know geometry, so your level is less. No, it will not say that. It will say, okay, let me change the topic. I will bring the difficulty. So let us say that you are at this point now. You got it wrong. It will not say I will bring you down so much. It will basically say that I will give you either same level or slightly lesser level, but I will change the concept. This was a geometry question. Let me put an algebra question which is slightly lesser than this. Or it could also be at the same level. If you got it right, you will next go up again. So what it does in a very beautiful manner is, it will not penalize you for not learning only geometry. It says, fine, you don't know geometry, let me ask same level in algebra. Or let me ask same level in arithmetic. Can you do that? If you can't do that, so if you're saying that out of the 10 topics that I had to prepare, I didn't prepare for 6 topics, then there's a problem with you. But yes, one topic you did not prepare, you will not be penalized that hardly because it will change the topics. It will not keep asking you only geometry again and again. Okay, that's one thing. And again, if the question level itself is higher, then if it reduces slightly also, you will more or less try to, struggle to get the answer. If here also you can't get the answer, then the system will know that, okay, your level is lower than this, let me take you a bit more lower. So it might bring you down. Then if you're getting it right, it will give you slightly higher. Again, if you get it right, it'll go slightly higher. Again, if you notice this level you are reaching. So you'll start making mistakes here. So again, it will go back. So it will basically see that this is in this format, something like this. So you're not going beyond this average level. So this is where your potential is. That's how the system will determine. So this is how your entire structure works, whether it is logic, whether it is quant or English, the same structure will follow. So what these exams like NMAT or GMAT does is, it is not going to test you the knowledge of a particular subject per se. It is trying to test the level of your understanding, not just in geometry or not just in arithmetic, but across the board. That is the beauty of such kind of an exam. Okay, you can, in fact, you can make mistakes and still be a topper. Unlike your CAT exam, you make 1 or 2 mistakes, you definitely cannot be a topper, because a topper is a person who gets almost everything correct. And there will be people who get all questions correct in quant. But in an exam like NMAT, you can still make 1 or 2 questions and be one among the top people, because the exam does not penalize you for making a silly error, because it will notice very quickly that, okay, last question you got wrong, let me test whether your level is low or is it that you made a silly mistake. You made a silly mistake, it will quickly realize that, okay, your level is much beyond this, much above this, increase the difficulty level. Ultimately, you can still reach the same height that somebody can reach without making any errors. So both of you will more or less be getting kind of similar marks. At least the difference will not be as much as you can see in a CAT, traditional CAT or ZAT kind of an exam. Okay, so that's all about your adaptive nature. The other thing is, you can only go forward. You cannot come backward, obviously, right? If I'm saying that based on your question 1, you got question 2. Based on the way you attempted question 1, you got question 2. Then again, you cannot go back and change question 1 answer. Because question 2 was given to you based on how you answered question 1. Because question 2 is already given, you can't go back and then change question 1 and then therefore again change question 2. It doesn't work that way. So once you submit an answer, you can't change it. You can only go forward. It's a one-way route. The other thing that you need to also understand about this kind of an exam, which means they should have hundreds and in fact thousands of questions of different topics, of different difficulty level. So I will not be surprised if they have thousands, hundreds and thousands of questions from geometry across the difficulty level. Easy, very easy difficulty level, easy, moderate, and so on and so forth. Again, from different topics. Geometry, in geometry you're talking about polygons, you're talking about let's say triangles. So various ideas in geometry spread across difficulty levels. Similarly, they should be having arithmetic in various difficulty levels. Again, subtopics, time and distance, various difficulty levels. Time and work, various difficulty levels. So they should have all of this. So the system will pick a question and give it to you based on how you answered. That is how this exam called NMAT behaves. Okay? So what is the exam structure? Ultimately, the exam structure is quite simple. There are 3 sections. Language skills is the English part. They give 36 questions and 28 minutes. So you can see the time here is less than 1 minute per question. Then you're talking about Quant, 36 questions and 52 minutes. Here you have a little bit more than 1 minute per question. And logical reasoning is 36 questions and 40 minutes. So it is not that you have a lot of time. You will have just about enough time if you are a person who's practiced enough. If you did not practice, the time will never be sufficient to reach the end of the paper. Please remember that. You should reach the end of the paper without giving without completing the paper. If you come out, that would actually be bad for you. You should finish the paper, which means you should be fast enough to go through all the questions, give some answer and move on. One of the things about NMAT exam is, if you don't know the answer, randomly you should mark something, because without marking you can't go forward. So it is forcing you to give some answer. Randomly you should mark something, because without which you can't go forward. So don't waste your time trying to think what is the correct answer, what is the best answer. Please give some answer and get out of it. Ayush says, NMAT, last year you got 248 marks but got calls from NMIMS Mumbai, converted but I didn't join. Ayush, you could have your reasons why you did not join. It all depends on what were the other options, and did you feel that you have a better performing potential. See guys, I'm not saying that NMIMS is the best college in India. Definitely it is not in the top 5 in my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. But yeah, if you believe that you can crack an exam like CAT and get a 99.5, 99.6 percentile, then you might choose not to join NMIMS this year, which is what you have done, Ayush. So I'm assuming that you have a lot more potential. So all the best, my friend. That's good for you. You have left one of the good colleges. I admire the confidence that you have. It's really good. Okay. So totally we are talking about 108 questions in 2 hours. And the other thing is there are going to be 5 options each. Now, as far as NMIMS is concerned, it has sectional cutoffs for each section. You need to get a minimum score in every section. You can't change the section without the time getting over. So you have to stick to the time, finish those answers, automatically the section will change. Okay? And yes, you need to score the minimum requirement in every section. So this is the syllabus that you have if you're talking about English. Vocabulary, they do ask a lot of vocabulary based questions, synonyms, antonyms, analogies, fill in the blanks with preposition, right word of usage of preposition and so on and so forth. Then you have grammar. They will give you a sentence and they give you a sentence like this, and they will highlight 3 parts or 4 parts of the sentence, and they'll say which of these highlighted portions is wrong. So you have to give, in fact there'll be 5 options. You'll have to choose which is the best option to replace the wrongly entered sentence there. Similarly, choose the correct preposition. As I said, okay, it's not in vocabulary here, it's choose the correct preposition. So they'll give you a fill in the blank. So actually it is like a fill in the blank. Here the fill in the blanks is, it is not about a preposition per se. They will give you which word should be used. So they will test the usage of your words. Whereas here, choose the correct preposition. So you have to use the correct preposition only in the fill in the blank given there. Similarly, sentence correction is there. We have tenses, parts of speech, a lot of these questions which are typically grammar-based questions. And of course, RC is always there. Reading comprehension has been there. Any good exam will always test you on your RC. Okay. Then if you're looking at logic, we have verbal reasoning and analytical reasoning are two areas. In verbal reasoning, we have something called as statements and argument, statement assumption, statement inference, decision making, course of action, critical reasoning. All of these come under the topic of critical reasoning. These are typical questions where you're not talking about solving per se, you're not solving a puzzle, but it's more about using logic to understand whether a statement makes sense or not. For example, in fact, I keep saying this, statement and let's say inference. When I'm saying, how do I give you an example for inference, or what should I give you? Okay, let me give you an example of critical reasoning. If I say this, unless you study, you will fail. What does it mean? It means if you don't study, you will fail. Unless you study, you will fail, which means if you don't study, you will fail. But can you conclude that if you study, you will pass? You can't. So the thinking, the logic here is, the statement is only saying what will happen if you don't study. It is not talking about what will happen if you study, which means you cannot conclude what should happen when you study, because in your real life also, there are a lot of people you know who study and still end up failing. And I'm not talking about failing a normal exam. Usually in your school and college, you study, you pass. But I'm talking about competitive exams. There are very few seats and thousands and lakhs of students competing. Even if the top 5% study well, there are not even 5% seats in the top colleges. So somebody has to be rejected. So if you don't study, anyway you will go and fail, or you will get rejected. But if you study, there is no guarantee that you'll get it. So that's what the statement is talking about. You should understand the crux of it. You should understand the logic implied there. Such kind of questions come under critical reasoning, and that way of thinking, that type of thinking is called as critical reasoning or critical thinking. So all these kind of questions will involve that type of thinking. Then of course you have your traditional analytical reasoning, your linear and circular arrangements, syllogisms, blood relations, direction sense. Your typical analytical reasoning is anyway there. Okay, so these are the two parts which come under your logic section. Then if you're talking about your maths is again the traditional maths, the subject. So the commonality here with other entrance exams is the syllabus is more or less the same. So you don't have to prepare for NMAT separately if you're preparing for CAT. However, given the difficulty level change in NMAT, the way in which the exam goes, I would not say that just preparing for CAT is enough for you to go and crack NMAT. You would require to write few NMAT exams or mocks. At least 6, 7, 8 mocks you have to write to understand the nature of the exam, to adapt to the speed. So guys, you will have more time in the CAT exam compared to an NMAT exam. So NMAT is more fast, it's a little bit more faster, the speed requirement will be faster, the decision making will be, you'll be required to make faster. So should I do this or not? The decision should be done very, very quickly compared to what it is in CAT. CAT you can try for 45-50 seconds and then decide, okay, I'm not getting, I'll leave it. But in NMAT, you can't test a question for 45-50 seconds. You should finish the answer in 45-50 seconds, which means in the first 10 seconds you should decide, should I do this or not? So that's how the exam change or the question changes. So if you decide that this question is not there for me, or you don't even know about this, mark something randomly and go on to the next question. If you know that, okay, this topic is known, I can try for about 45-50 seconds and then see what happens. Ayush says, what my instinct says, NM is a fancy flex college. Ayush, well, they give you a lot of facilities. Okay, I mean, it's one of the very, very, I would not use the word comfortable per se or luxurious per se, but yeah, it's a college which has a lot of facilities. You have, it's present in one of the very beautiful locations in Bombay, which is just next Santa Cruz, which is right next to Bandra. There's a beach just outside. You can see the water. I mean, the location is awesome. So yeah, you can always debate about is it worth the money or not. You have a Mitibai College, one of the very well-known colleges right next to it. So yes, the location is in the prime area of Bombay. Because of that, probably the cost would also be higher for you. Imagine staying in that kind of an area with the money you're paying for 2 years. I don't think you'll be able to get a really good apartment there at the money that you're paying them. Okay, which is including your tuition and your stay. Anyway, so let's not debate whether the money is high, low. That's up to you. That's up to what options you have. So I'm not getting into that. But yes, I'm here to talk about the college being good. There's no doubt about it. It's definitely in the top 12, top 15 colleges in the country right now. There's absolutely no doubt about it. The placements are stellar. Again, there's no reason why I should say the placements are bad. It's really good in terms of placements also. In terms of the place, the most happening place, it's in Bombay. Anyway, so coming back to this, Quant, the syllabus is the same. We have arithmetic, algebra, geometry, modern math, and data interpretation. So all these topics come under your math, which is basically there in your any other MBA entrance exams. The topics are the same. It doesn't change. Okay. Well, if you're looking at cutoffs for NMIMS, it keeps changing from year to year, but it would be anywhere between 735, 740. So that is the range you're looking at. Bare minimum for NMIMS Mumbai campus is not 735, my bad, 235, 235 marks and above. So 240, 242. In fact, in the last 1 or 2 years, I have noticed the cutoff going as high as 240 plus. So I've just put last 5 years, if you look at it, on an average, you're looking at 235 plus only, definitely not less than that. Okay, 237, 238, I think once or twice it happened, but 240, 245, 244, that is, I would say, is a green zone. Safely, you can say, okay, I'll get a call. Okay, NMIMS Bangalore also has a pretty decent score, 220 requirement, and NMIMS Hyderabad would be a 210 plus requirement. Okay, percentiles doesn't really matter because you're going to get the score. The score is what you're looking at overall. And yes, the fees, I think the fees were about 1 year or 1.5 year old. I think the new fees I'll have to update once they put up on the website. But again, this is only tuition. It does not include the food and stay. So if you add the food and stay, it goes much beyond this. So don't think it is cheap. It is not cheap for sure. Okay, this is only the tuition fee and the books cost and the academic related cost. Your stay and your food will cost you higher. Okay, when you add that, it'll go probably about another 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs on top of it for 2 years. Well, that's what I have for you, my friends. So I hope you understood a little about NMAT exam today and how it is different from the other MBA entrance exams. So if you're preparing for NMAT in this year for October or starting from October, the two pieces of advice I'm going to give you. One is syllabus wise, it is the same. You don't have to worry about preparing something completely new as far as syllabus is concerned. But yes, there should be a practice done separately for speed, separately for the decision to either do it or mark and move into the next question. Okay, so that ability to decide, is it for you or not, or even the other way around, can you push yourself to do a question in under 1 minute, which is CAT, usually we say 1.5 to 2 minutes is okay. Here you have to push yourself to do every question under 1 minute. So that's what you need to practice here. So I would not say the same preparation for CAT will be enough for NMAT, but the syllabus will be enough. You need extra preparation with respect to your speed. Right, so with that in mind, I will bring this session to a conclusion, to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please do subscribe to our channel. We're going to have a lot more sessions of these type coming your way. Please do give me a like as well as click on the notification icon. Thank you, my friends, and see you in the next one.